with one song, with one voice. We're a nation undivided and poised. We will take us down and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore. Where freedom reigns and truth prevails, our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation.
Yes, it's another beautiful morning in this great nation. Of course, you woke up and yes, it is still Nigeria. We are all in Nigeria together, and we should all work in the progress of this nation. Good morning to you, and you're welcome to Nicole Amzat studio this morning. My name is Wuraola Yusuff, and this is the Dailies. Of course, this is where we get to discuss about our great nation, Nigeria. The stories making the rounds for today. How do they affect and concern us, or how can they affect us? Do they even concern us at all? That is why we have the great maestro in the studio to help us analyze and help us understand better what these stories for the day, what they actually mean to us as citizens who are living or not living in Nigeria. I have a couple of newspapers this morning, and I will be starting from the Punch newspaper, where we have the story on page 15 saying federal government rolls out a 1 trillion naira palliative massive construction project. A couple of writers to that. The first one says 3.7 million families to get 540 billion naira grant, 155 billion naira for assorted foods, others. Another writer says the federal government to begin a massive road, rail construction, CNG buses distribution in states, FCT. Alright, the federal government okays a December extension to forestall abandoned project. That is talking about the 2023 supplementary budget that was approved yesterday. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. NNPC to boost economy with a $4 billion gas project. Page 22. On the issue of the cholera outbreak, government eyes vaccine donations as cases hit 1,579. That story is on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Blackmail can't stop a new presidential jet approval. That is coming from Senate on page 28 of the Punch newspaper today. Also, we have another story saying states should negotiate minimum wage. That is coming from Southern Governors on page 29. Federal government raises a fresh 284 billion naira as T-bills debt hits 10 trillion naira. Page 22 of the Punch newspaper. On pages 4 and 5, Pro begins as ex-Conga CEO allegedly jumps to death in Lagos apartment. Moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper, Tinubu governors are silent on minimum wage. That story is on page 4. The writer to the story, the first one says, federal government approves a 370 billion naira for states, FCT to buy buses. 50,000 naira for 100,000 families in each state. All right. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the issue of minimum wage, we have governors saying, let each state negotiate what it can pay. The first writer to the story says, Tinubu neck silent on minimum wage. Another one says, private workers getting restive over delayed minimum wage. That one is coming from the labor unions. They want labor leaders to push for quick resolution. And another writer says they lament hardship becoming unbearable. People are lamenting hardship becoming unbearable, with basic necessities no longer affordable. The last writer to that story is coming from Sano, saying, we are not happy with Tinubu's slow motion. Right? We have the story coming from Rivers, saying Pro-Wike Group fought Fubara's claim on a bombing of a Rivers hotel. Surveillance operatives uncover oil bunkering camps in Bayelsa State. That is on page 35. Shong Imam at war over Hajj. Why? We shall know this morning. That story is on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper today. President Tinubu approves 50,000 naira grant, a 155 billion naira food package for households. Okay. The stories alongside authors are what we have to talk about this morning. And that is where I get to say good morning officially to Maestro in the studio.
Good morning, Wura.
All right, you're welcome.
My pleasure.
Okay, I do not know if we should go towards the minimum wage issue first, but then let us talk about this one. Because I know people at home will be like, all right, another one, another palliative. How is it going to get to us?
I don't know. I always have a problem with this palliative thing. And my problem stems from that absence of the most essential part of any kind of planning, which is data. So if we don't have a bank where we could say, this man, Abu, lives in so, number so, area so, we identify. So, I think it's the regular, thing for me. It's the regular corruption at the base of it. No matter how good your intentions are, you have to know the person you want to give something to. And so if you don't know them, then how do you distribute? How does it get to them? And if you're saying you know them, where's the list? Because if we publish a list, for instance, we will be able to say, okay, this is how you arrived at the people you want to give these things to. We are always in the dark. We only hear about the billions and that it's going to go to so number of families. Which families?
100,000 families in each state.
100,000 families. Okay, who are they? Where do they live in each state?
Citizens of this great nation.
It's too vague for me, and that's where the problem is, because it allows corruption to reign. If you say you're going to give 100,000 people a certain amount of money in your state, for instance, I expect the list to be published. That these are the people who will get it. Let's be clear about it. 100,000, families is few and far between.
In each state.
It's bad enough that it doesn't run far. But okay, let's say some people would at least get it per state, right? But my major problem is, who are those 100,000 families? What's their name? Where do they live in those states, and so on and so forth. So it's been my constant position for a very long time that if I don't have a list published that I could read and say, okay, I could confirm as a citizen, I write it down to the regular Nigerian corruption. I don't fly. It doesn't fly with me until we are able to get to that point. Look, what is difficult, even as opaque as things are, what's so difficult about saying, okay, in Baggy Market, so number of people are going to get it in Baggy. So number of people are going to get it in Bodija Market. Oh, so number of teachers. Who are the people you're giving
Does
it
that not
to?
come down to state governments to do that?
Well, I've also always believed that if you want to do this kind of stuff, you have to work with state governments. But, what you see most of the time is they don't work with state governments. The federal government will just simply go about it, most of the time alone. And I don't think it's going to be successful at the end of the day. Look, I don't set my mind to this thing. The last time that they said, okay, we are going to distribute so and so, I think they restricted whatever they were doing to the banks. Maybe some people got some money, in their accounts. And then what happened immediately after? It's just like nothing happened. People still went on to cry of hunger and stuff and everything. So they have to do better, in order to convince people that you are even actually distributing this money to certain people. You have to publish something that we can work with.
The thing is, some people actually they confirmed the fact that they got the palliative. I mean, there was a link on social media. I think I saw it on X where people thought it was a normal scam.
Who believes all that? I mean,
But then,
sincerely, who believes all that?
Exactly. When you see that, you get scared when you see those kind of links.
What they say about the social media, what we say about the social media, does it give any kind of credibility to social media confirmations? So, I mean, it's just not the thing to do.
But some people came out to say yes, they received it.
Yeah, some people will, certainly. But who are those people saying they received it? Are they part of them or part of, where? So it's not, I'm not saying this in order to run anybody down. I'm saying this as I've been saying it forever. You cannot be distributing billions without having some kind of information that will make it very open and transparent. So we can even work with it and say, this is how far you went the last time. And let's see the next
Let's
target.
pick it up from there.
So it's not possible for you to, there's no document that I know that you can work with.
All right then, people, that is to say that according to the president, 50,000 naira is coming for each household. So when you get it, let us know in the studio.
Okay.
All right then, if I get it too, I'll surely let you people know.
I doubt it will get to you.
Oh God, why not?
You are not one of the poorest of the poor.
It's for Nigerians. They didn't say it's for the poorest of the poor.
It's supposed to go to. Could you imagine somebody giving 50,000 naira to Aliko Dangote in his account? It doesn't happen. It has to really go down. And this is what I say all the time. We're all feeling the pinch. There's no doubt about it. But some of us are not the worst for it. And we should be very clear about that. It's even morally right and spiritually correct for us to own up that, we don't belong to the worst of the worst. So that we can now represent those who belong to that level.
All right then, let us move on to the issue of our minimum wage. Yesterday we had the FEC meeting. Well, after the meeting, the governors, those that were at the meeting, they refused to say much to the newsmen that were around concerning whatever it is that the decision was. But we have this coming from governors saying that let each state negotiate what their minimum wage would be. We also have Sano saying, see, Mr. President, we are not for this slow motion you're doing, according to them. That is actually how they put it. They said they are tired of the slow motion thing that the president is doing concerning minimum wage. But let us focus on the fact that governors of each state should negotiate how much they want to pay. That is what they said.
Well, both we could address. The governors are stating the obvious. They're stating the obvious. Nobody could really negotiate on behalf of the states, and that's why I think they've been part of it from the start. But I don't think NLC has been concentrating so much on the governors because it's the greater challenge, really. I think the federal government, in NLC's perception, is the low-hanging fruit. And so you could just stretch your hand and pluck that. Even if it's difficult to pluck, you can reach it and hold it and keep struggling with it until you're able to pluck it, something. But the governors, they are going to have to deal with this situation according to their strength. And the financial strength of states, differ.
Sure.
Therefore, what Osun State government is going to say, this is what I could pay, is going to be different from what Lagos State will say. It's going to be different from what Akwa Ibom would say, and so on and so forth. So, you see, the more intelligent approach to this thing should have been a simultaneous kind of negotiation. While you're dealing with the federal government, you could have started dealing with the state governors at the different states and be talking to them, not necessarily going on strike and so on and so forth at the states, but talking to them. So now that they are saying, oh, okay, we are just going to start, governors are initiating, you would have gone far ahead. By now, you will know what each state will be offering you. But the approach adopted by NLC did not allow that to happen. So now when you are almost exhausted, it's when you will now take your exhaustion to the states. And I don't know how strategic that is.
Okay. All right, then. Let us go on a commercial. When we're back, we'll continue the conversation in the studio this morning. We'll be back.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí aláboyún, ó ṣe pàtàkì kí n tọ́jú ara mi kí n sì wà ní ìlera pípé.
Kí ìwọ àtoyún inú ẹ lè wà ní ìlera tó péye. Máa lo oògùn ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó ní áyọ̀nù nínú àti folic acid lójoojúmọ́ lákòókò tó bá lóyún. Eléyìí ń dènà àìtó ẹ̀jẹ̀ nínú oyún, yóò sì jẹ́ kóyún wà lálàáfíà. Fún ìlera pípé, ẹ máa yọjú sí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ elétò ìlera yín fún ìtọ́jú oyún nígbà tó yẹ. Ìkéde yìí wá láti àkànṣeṣẹ́ ARIN, iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
I wanna be as strong as Captain Amazing. I need amazing, they cereal, that is what I'll be. I've got strong bones, sharp eyes. I'm an amazing angel, that's right. I'm an amazing, they cereal, that is who I am.
Now tell me what you need.
Amazing, they cereal.
Golden Penny Amazing Day Cereal. Nurture them for the future.
No matter waiting, I show you, you show me love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You show me, you show me, you show me love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
My baby is 6 months old.
Oh my! 6 months old? Wow! Now your baby needs more than breast milk. It's time to introduce mashed meals. In addition to breast milk, begin to give your baby mashed meals that contain at least 1 item from each of these 5 food groups: eggs, fish or meat, fruits and vegetables, oils, beans, groundnuts, soya or millet, rice, potato, maize or yam. From 6 months. In addition to breast milk, your baby needs this combination of food types to grow healthy. This message is from the ANRIN Project or your State Ministry of Health.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
All right, right, you're welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is the Dailies, and we are here talking about our great nation, Nigeria. Of course, you can also join us on our Facebook page at Akidigbo887, just so that you can watch us just as much as you're listening. All right, before we went on that break, we were talking about minimum wage and how governors are saying they want to negotiate on their own what they would pay. We have Sano saying that, see, we are tired of Mr. President's slow motion. We need a quick answer. Let us know what we're doing.
Okay, so I've always had reservations about how NLC goes about its business, using the old tactics all the time, not really going outside the box to see what it could do differently and achieve some things. The Sano thing is I think people are entitled to express according to their intelligence or their emotions and so on and so forth. All these things come together. But sincerely, if I wanted to go into negotiations with someone, I probably will be at my best behavior, so that my focus will be on what I want to get in that place. I might be a little less rascally, about my expressions. So I get in there, get whatever I want to get, and get out of the place. But talking about going slow and so on is, I know it might sound derogatory, but one, they haven't committed any criminal offense by saying that. And the second part of it is that I think people like using that for people in office a lot. It's a term that started with Mr. Femi Otedola's father in office in Lagos. As governor of Lagos State, Pa Otedola was called Baba Goslow. And then much later on, that term was used for the Nigerian president, President Muhammadu Buhari, was called Baba Goslow. So I think Sanu is just keeping up with the tradition now. And by calling President Tinubu, they didn't actually call him yet, but they are saying they're tired of go slow. So it's still the same theme running through. Sometimes when Nigerians are not pleased with certain things that you're doing in office, they use that term.
But do you think Mr. President is playing the right game with how he's going about it?
How he's going about Sanu?
No, minimum wage. Minimum wage.
Well, what else do you do? I'm trying to figure out what you could do. Because, you see, it's bigger than minimum wage. It's a bigger issue than minimum wage. If, because we love the workers and so on, people are suffering, we say, okay, give them 250,000 naira, so everything will be fine. That will be opening the dam, because more people will pop up, making more requests. And so what do you do then? Yet you have limited resources. You know how much you are owing as a country before you got into office. You know how much you have taken yourself in terms of loans. We were talking the other day about how we've tied up our entire crude in the next 3 years to loans. So if Dangote had access to our crude oil, he wouldn't be complaining. We'll just tell him, go and take as much as you want. But we've loaned all those things out into the future. These are the harsh realities, of our time. And we have to face that if we are going to talk intelligently about our economy and the several requests that must be flowing towards a federal government that has taken over the years more than it could chew. There are too many things under the umbrella of the federal government than it could cope with. And coping with it becomes increasingly difficult almost on a daily basis because of the structure. This structure does not have integrity. You have to use another structure that has integrity to make progress as a country. But you see, some people are in the way. Some powerful forces are in the way of getting that structure that has integrity that you can now use to make progress as a country. And that's the greatest issue of our time. It's not the issue of who is the president, who is the governor, and so on, which enchants our people much more than any other thing. But no matter what your own type of enchantment is, that is the final fact. If we don't restructure, we're going to be having this regularly until restructuring forces itself on us.
All right. So would it make sense for every state governors should face their state labor unions and negotiate? Then what then happens to the head of labor unions at the top?
The head of labor unions at the top.
I'm talking about our gyro and
nothing happens to them. This is a regular thing. It's not new. This is what we do all the time. Labor has to pop up and ask for minimum wage and go on strike, return, suspend, call it off, and so on until it gets something.
But some states, they do not have this minimum wage problem. There are some states that what they are paying them is even more than, I think, what state is that?
Maybe you have about 2 or 3 states in that category.
Exactly.
It's not all the states.
And so if we have a more state like that, knowing fully well that, okay, I am dealing with the labor unions in my
Some
state.
of the states who are doing it, they are doing it for political purposes. Not that they could really even afford it.
Oh.
Some of them are announcing figures, maybe you have a transitional period. And then I can say, I can pay 80,000 naira, or I don't know what they are saying, why they couldn't pay. And nobody could argue with that because, an outgoing governor saying, I can pay this, I can pay that, it's fine. So people are going to see now, but you need to go and check the devil that is in the detail at the end of the day.
A second.
It's 7 a.m. on Agidigbo 88.7 FM.
Okay.
So if Akwa Ibom says I could pay 100,000, I probably will not bother. I will believe that straight on. That okay, yeah. If Lagos State says I could pay 120 and so on, there are some states that you hear this thing and you say that's the truth. Some states will say it's just like a governor that is leaving office after 8 years decides to suddenly employ thousands of workers ahead of the governor that is going to take over from him.
It's not his burden anymore.
So, and you must know that is deliberate. I don't know how far these things or how close these things are, but I think we are not hearing total sincerity all the way. So you need to go and scrutinize by yourself. Nothing is going to happen to the leaders. They will serve out their tenure and move on, and you won't hear about them anymore.
But would they allow that?
Allow what?
I'm talking about the attention it brings whenever they are negotiating on the minimum wage. Yes. So when it is now the state governors versus the state labor unions,
yes,
and the attention is no longer on them.
Yeah, well, it depends. If a particular NLC president does not want the attention to be on him, because that time I can clearly see that Comrade Adams Oshiomole was moving from state to state. Not all the states, some selected states to go and make huge campaigns. It was like he was campaigning for office. Of course, he wasn't campaigning for office. He was, waging labor war against. I remember clearly he came to Oyo State here, and if you saw the crowd around Agodi there, I think it was Agodi. It was massive, and those were days that people believed in labor leadership, and I think he was about the last person who brought that to a close, because after he finished with everybody. He became governor. He became governor in Edo State, and since then it's been very difficult to know what to call the comrade, governor or comrade. So at the end of the day, people resolved to call him comrade governor, and of course he was still wearing his conductor and everything.
All right then. Yesterday we talked about drug abuse yesterday, and people actually talked more about that. The conversation was actually good yesterday. I mean, people were eager to talk about it. And there is this news coming from the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, that is Mr. Festus Keyamo, saying that some private aircraft operating in Nigeria are being used for money laundering, drug trafficking, and other illegal activities. This is to tell us that it is coming from way up there. Because
and I think it's good that the Honorable Minister is making that statement because he's in high office, and that's very believable. If some other persons were to be saying that, we probably will be checking and rechecking. So we know that he wouldn't just wake up one day and make that kind of statement from his powerful office. So that's a call to relevant agencies to swing into action. It's very, very disheartening that you simply could do just about anything if you had a private jet inside the country. One of the most difficult things to do in proper settings would be to put anything inside your aircraft and be flying around with it, because it's in a place. Aircraft are in a place where people could actually check what's going on. You're not parking this thing in your backyard.
Even private aircraft,
You don't park.
they get checked. Do they get checked?
You have to park where you park, because you won't drive it on the ground from your backyard to the airport before you take off. So you park it where where everybody else does it, and this is a sad one. If it's true, it shouldn't be allowed to go on, because it even endangers the security of the country when people could do whatever they like with their aircraft. Take money, move money around, and so on. Because it's easy for you to simply put it, but who's responsible on ground? Because you have to take whatever it is into that. It's, law enforcement, falls too much for filthy lucre in our country. And I think that's one of the places where this thing is coming from. And to add to that, you have to also know that the airports are, one of the most corrupt places. And I think the Honorable Minister, has said so many times too, that they're working at people simply creating rackets around airports, collecting money, taxing people, and embarrassing everybody, especially when foreigners come in.
Yes.
People see the beauty of Nigeria on the social media from different parts of the world, and they want to come and experience that beauty.
That's what they get. They meet.
So, because that's the gateway, and they meet these urchins, and they begin to embarrass everybody right from the airport, and that's really sad.
Okay, so that means the task force. He said they are going to set up a ministerial task force to work on that. Does that mean that the security at our airport, talking about checking private aircraft, because he also talked about the fact that there are some of them that are illegal, that they do not even have the licenses to even fly, and then they are still the ones doing this kind of things.
That falls on his table, so he's indicting himself, and some other security agencies too. You see, I told you, law enforcement falls flat in the face of money, and that's one of the most dangerous things to even imagine to happen to a country. And I hope after making this announcement, everything will be done to at least reduce it, because money laundering is one of the things killing this economy. And yes, it must be written down to a question on the capacity of government to ensure that such things don't go on at the rate which is going on. If you and I were to be going inside the airport in Abuja to board a flight, They will check you back and forth. You have to remove your shoes and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. But when it's one of these people, they simply go from they just give them easy access and they pass, and it has to stop.
All right then. Let us give us this update concerning Oyo State House of Assembly. The news came up saying that there is no plan to suspend Oyo Assembly lawmakers. That is coming from the speaker. Yes. So they said all is well. There is
Yeah.
no trouble at all.
So it's done.
It's done.
It's dusted. I told you. I know my country. I know my country, and some of these things, they are no brainers.
So they said nothing is there. So you should not worry.
So
Everything
is
is
happy
under
now.
control.
Everybody's happy now.
Okay then, let us move on to another story as we have the president talking to governors saying we need to go on a massive food production campaign. We need an urgent and a result oriented agri plan in this country. And we've been seeing quite a lot of talks concerning agri in the past few days. Yes, so
I don't really understand why the president should be freshly calling for that kind of plan. It's something I expected that he will come into office with. That kind of plan, he should come into office
already made.
with that kind of plan. Now, if you want to tinker with the plan you came into office with to make it better because of fresh realities, that makes a lot of sense to me. But to be calling for a new plan, at this point, I'm absolutely uncomfortable with that. But then, now that he has made the call anyway, we will see what the regional cooperations that we are experiencing right now would do. Look, you don't need a new plan for the Southwest Agriculture Scheme. Sincerely, what you probably would need is to look at the plan that was and then upgrade that plan. You could, because technology has changed, a lot of things, must have replaced many other things in terms of so you can upgrade. It's then the collaboration part and so on and so forth. These are the things that we need to do. And I know that you have people who are knowledgeable enough at the helm of affairs in these Southwest states, which is what concerns me a lot. Because I think other parts of this country are doing fairly better than the Southwest in terms of agriculture right now. So we are the ones who need to really wake up and take that pride of place that we had before. And it's not just about food. Yes, food massively so that we could have enough to eat and to export. But also cash, foreign exchange earners, that we could do here and be fine. It's possible. One, if we stop saying this nonsense, government has no business in business, we should stop saying that nonsense because it does not make any sense. It's a slogan that some people found appealing from wherever they brought it from. It does not relate to us here because government is the largest, it takes the largest share of everything, of the resources. So which day would you not be involved in business? So don't let's talk that nonsense anymore. Let government be involved in that kind of business that is fundamental to our well-being as a people. And so we can take off from there. Now that they are calling for plans, let them call for plans. Let people give them plans. But let's, in this zone, in this geopolitical zone, let's be fast about this new collaboration among the states.
All right, then, let us move on to this story where EFCC is saying that where is Yahya Bello? If you cannot produce Yahya Bello, we don't know who will be holding you for contempt. And that is talking about two senior advocates of Nigeria that they said if this is for their failure to honor their commitment to produce immediate past Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello for arraignment. There is no Yahya Bello, so we are coming for you.
I guess that's the EFCC telling
Yes,
the
EFCC,
lawyers.
yes.
Oh, I don't know how that makes a lot of sense. I don't think the EFCC should be going for anybody if they could not get the person they want. They should keep looking for the person they
They said
want.
they promised to produce Yahya Bello for them.
So if they promised and they couldn't get Yahya Bello, what else? That's the business of the court. The court now takes over. The court is, the court should be saying whatever it is they want to say, not the EFCC jumping in to say we will come for you if you could not. Because if you come for these people, let's assume that you got them. What would you do with them? So I don't know if I understand clearly what you're saying. I don't think they are representing themselves very well with that kind of statement.
On this case or on so many other cases?
Well, let's even talk about this one. If Yahya Bello is nowhere to be found, apparently he's hiding, and these people believe that they could get him out of hiding, and they're not now able to get him. So the court should now be saying where he, asking questions and so on. Now, I don't think it's the place of the EFCC to now say we will come after you if you're not able to produce him. Come after them, and then what will happen? Are they able to stand in the dock on his behalf and be giving you all the answers and so on and so forth? I don't think it makes a lot of sense to me just listening to that.
All right. Again, we have the EFCC chairman ordering the arrest of two of his men, two EFCC staff. That is concerning a viral video of them assaulting a particular man. When we're back from this commercial, we'll discuss that.
88.7 FM.
Ó yá gbà ọmọ mi ọ̀wọ́n.
Mami, ẹ fi mílìkì sí ni.
Kò di dandan ìwọ tó wò ná.
Báwo lẹ ṣe ṣe?
Ǹjẹ́ mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye?
Ní gidi gan.
Ṣé ọ̀rá wàrà inú ẹ̀ ṣàn tó?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy nìyẹn o. Mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye. Mi ò nílò láti ṣàfikún mílìkì sí i.
Mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀ màámi.
Fún àwọn ọmọ rẹ ní Milo 3-in-1 milky àti creamy tuntun, mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye, ó kún fún káṣíọ̀mù láti ran àwọn ọmọ rẹ lọ́wọ́ láti yege lójoojúmọ́. Milo, agbára láti tẹ̀síwájú.
Milo!
No matter waiting, I show you, you show me love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You show me, you show me, you show me love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock last.
My baby is 6 months old. Oh my! 6 months old? Wow! Now your baby needs more than breast milk. It's time to introduce mashed meals. In addition to breast milk, begin to give your baby mashed meals that contain at least one item from each of these 5 food groups: eggs, fish or meat, fruits and vegetables, oils, beans, groundnuts, soya or millet, rice, potato, maize or yam from 6 months. In addition to breast milk, your baby needs this combination of food types to grow healthy. This message is from the Anring Project or your State Ministry of Health.
Madam, you don't try this new Lush Hair 4-in-1 no-lie relaxer kit. We get free neutralizing shampoo and conditioner join.
What? Me, I no deal.
You not even sabi wetin dey happen for town. You see this Lush Hair relaxer so?
E no dey pepper, e no dey burn. E go even make your hair shine like oil.
Na so, Lush Hair relaxer kit na correct. We no go make your hair cut. We no go make your hair dry. E no dey pepper and e dey relax hair well well. Shikini time. Come buy your own.
Lush Hair. Be beautiful.
Ọmọ mi ti pọ̀ṣù mẹ́fà, ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́. Oṣù mẹ́fà, ẹ bá mi dúpẹ́.
ó ti yá pọ́ṣù mẹ́fà nìyẹn. Ọmọ ò máa ń pẹ́ dàgbà o. Báyìí o, ọmọ rẹ ti wá nílò ju omi ọyàn nìkan lọ o. Àkókò ti tó láti máa fún un ní oúnjẹ fífọ́. Ní àfikún sí ọyàn, rí i dájú pé àwọn oúnjẹ ọmọ rẹ ní ó kéré tán ọ̀kan lára àwọn oúnjẹ àfọ́pọ̀ márùn-ún wọ̀nyí: ẹyin, ẹja tàbí ẹran, èso àti ewébẹ̀, epo tàbí òróró, ẹ̀wà, ẹ̀pà tàbí sóyà, ìrẹsì, ọ̀dùnkún, àgbàdo tàbí iṣu. Ọmọ rẹ bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti oṣù mẹ́fà nílò omi ọyàn àtàwọn oúnjẹ wọ̀nyí fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìlera. Máa fún wọn lọ́yàn títí yóò fi pé ọmọ ọdún 2 àti jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Ìkéde yìí wá láti àkànṣeṣẹ́ ARIN, iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
Alright, a viral video had recently trended on social media where 2 officers were sighted assaulting the staff of a hotel in an early morning sting operation. Although the EFCC chairman said these whatever it is that they did, the operation yielded positive result. However, he frowned at the assault, and also he said now they are going to begin trial on these 2 personnel for what they did. Although what they did yielded positive results.
So he's partly supporting it and pretending that they are going to go through some kind of punishment. And I think that's ridiculous because we have been shouting for a long time that this approach is wrong. If you want to go and effect arrest in a hotel, it should not involve all the rooms in the hotel. You go straight to where you have determined.
This was even the staff.
Through investigation, you go to where you want to go. And you have your warrant of arrest or search warrant with you. That is what the law says. You cannot be effecting the law in an unlawful way, which is what they have been doing for a very long time. They will get to a nightclub, park everybody there, arrest them, take them away, and they will now be sifting through because they don't know who the person they are looking for is among them. So they start fishing. Now, infringing everybody's rights and breaking the law in the process. And I think this is one because we have people who could not direct their agencies into the right and lawful path because it's convenient that when they use some of these tactics, it yields results. So they will rather retain these rough tactics and unlawful rather than, stamp them out. So, and sometimes it even, dissolves into corruption. Because when you pack 100 people and then you begin to ask them to clear themselves,
they don't go just like that.
They don't go just like that. And you as the head, you don't want to address such things that, okay, they went in there, they did some wrong things, but they got results anyway. Trying to impress it on us that they are partially justified. Although I will do something about their misconduct.
Or maybe because the video went viral.
It's nonsense. Because they are doing it, and he knows that they are doing it. And he shouldn't. It's even condescending. That kind of talk that we got results. You're insulting people's intelligence. You're doing your lawful duty in an unlawful manner.
What he even said is that the operation yielded a sizable number of suspects who are still being profiled.
I don't even care about whatever you got. These are 2 distinct, situations. Your men, carried out their functions in an illegal manner, assaulting people. And people like that should lose their jobs ordinarily. But because they have the backing of their hierarchy, they will not lose their jobs because these guys know that they will do this thing and get away with it because they have the backing of their boss.
Okay, then, let us move on to this interesting story coming from the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, saying that there are plans by the leadership of the National Assembly to build a state-of-the-art medical facility for senators, House of Representative members, guests, and staff of the legislative body. According to him, what he said, in his words, in these our second legislative year, it is our plan to establish a state-of-the-art medical facility in close proximity to us to serve the distinguished senators, honorable members, National Assembly staff, and our esteemed guests. This initiative aims to provide functional and effective health care for all.
Well, you see, the first thing that occurs to me is that it's insensitive. And I know that the Senate President is given to that kind of insensitivity constantly. The way it sounds is you want to take care of yourselves. The high and mighty. Yes, the health system in the country is not so good, but in any case, you take care of yourself. That's how it comes out. But that's not even the greatest part of the problem. That is the kind of response you get on the surface, almost everywhere. I can imagine what the social media will be like, but that's not the one that worries me, because already people like them, they get the best Medicare inside and outside of the country already, whether they are building a new one or they are not building a new one. By virtue of their status, they get the best already. So that is there. But you see, the problem here is this is dedicated to awarding a contract. At the end of the day, it is not because they want to have access to Medicare, bring it close to home or anything like that. You see, the truth is that they do not like to seek Medicare locally. Most of them will not subject themselves, no matter how good, unless it's an emergency. If it's not an emergency, they will rather travel out.
Medical trip.
They will travel out, see their doctors who've been attending to them for years. And they also don't want the people of this country to know the kind of ailments they are suffering from. The politician wants to keep it wrapped up. He doesn't want people to know if he has anything terminal, or if it's not terminal, if he has certain conditions that should prevent him from aspiring to certain offices. Because people will ask, when you have this kind of situation, why do you want to stress yourself further and so on? They don't want that kind of information to leak out. More importantly, they don't want anybody to compromise their lives by
I mean, everyone is angry. You never can tell.
So they even when people were not this angry, they've always wanted to. So at the end of the day, when you eventually award, billions of naira to such a contract, God knows we have the history of padding and everything in that place. Whether it happens like that or not, it will now just be there. They won't patronize that place. If you recall what the former president's wife, Hajia Aisha, said about Aso Rock Clinic, you will begin to understand what I'm talking about. That's Aso Rock Clinic inside the presidency.
Where you can monitor the people that are
there.
That
should be state of the art. That should be able to attend to the president or his immediate family anytime before you fly or anything. And the woman got in there and she couldn't get an analgesic. And she was livid. She was so angry it came out in the papers. Now what's going on here? And go and check annual budget
for Aso
for that place. I don't know, maybe things have turned around after she got furious with them and everything, but that tells you what. So what I think they should be doing is not to be talking about something lofty for themselves. They should be talking about building state-of-the-art, one in the world hospital somewhere inside the FCT that will attract a lot of people from the west coast of Africa to that place and then be open to everybody who could afford it. That would have sounded a little bit better. And that would have said, okay, maybe they understand the plight of the people of this and they are conscious of our history. Wura, in this Ibadan, that UCH that you're seeing there, people came from the royal family in Saudi Arabia.
Back then?
Yes, to get treated in this same UCH. KS, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the royal family, if you know that what that's enormous. They came here. Now, when you're conscious of that kind of history as a lawmaker, like Senator Akpabio, the Senate President, there's no way in the world you'll be talking like that. That you're going to build one little thing that is going to be yours, so that it will, so you can walk into that sophisticated hospital. I think it's ridiculous.
Does not even mean they do not even care about Nigerians at this point, because we have a lot of issues. We're talking about cholera outbreak. We're talking about so many different things, not even health-wise. The way things are going in the country right now, and all you have to do, more or less like they do not care what people think or what people say.
I don't know if it's all of them. I don't want to even say it's all of them.
This is coming from the...
I think the Senate President, go and check what he's been saying since he got into that office. But not since he got into that office, before he got into that office. I think he has this thing that, you know, he simply says some things and then he will have to be cleaning up after himself.
Same thing, sending prayers to meals.
Yes. You will see, you know, in the next 24, 48 hours, he will be forced to come and be redoing the statement, which I think is not befitting of someone who is called number 3 man in the entire country. You have to think deeply, reflect a lot about what you are going to say before you say it, because 1, 2, 3, number 3 man saying at this time what we will do next is to build a special hospital for us.
For we, the 1% of the 1%.
That's not,
wow.
It's not very, very befitting.
All right, so let's see what people have to say about that, and also on other stories we've been discussing since 0704 1001 887 or +234 704 700 8873. But you know, before we take any calls or start reading comments, we have to listen to something, and that is for us to know the rules for this conversation we're about to jump into. So let's listen to this.
Thank you for your attention. It's been lovely to have you keeping it locked on Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Now is the time to join in the conversation, to have the word, hear your voice, because we are the people's voice. Meanwhile, while you contribute to this program, kindly note that in accordance with broadcasting ethics, you are requested to keep your contributions modest, truthful, concise, and not offensive, inflammatory, or with tendencies to cause discomfort to anyone. Thank you. Now, let the conversation begin.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Alexander from Odi Ferro, Ibadan.
All right.
I want to talk about the palliatives. This is not the way to run a country. The palliatives will not get to the people who really need it, to the grassroots, to the dregs of the society. It wouldn't get there. The politicians will corner it. That is what I want to say.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. 070410018887 or +234 704 7008873. Hello.
Hello, good morning. My name is George Akube from Oluseyi Junction, LALA, here in Ibadan. Quickly, let me talk about that of the Senate President. I think it's right time anything the government plan doing now should be the motive of them getting results or getting profit out of it. It should be an establishment for them to generate income, not establishing something for personal use. That's one. Then secondly, on that of minimum wage. On minimum wage, we have three types of problem on that of minimum wage. We have a we problem, our problem, and a you problem. It is a we problem when the federal government are the one bargaining on the minimum wage. It's a we problem because the state will benefit, the private sectors, all the whole nation will benefit from it. But it is our problem if it's the governors that are the ones deciding on the minimum wage. It is our problem because it's the people of that state, most civil servants, that will benefit that. But it is not a you problem to the private organizations. Because the workers in private organizations might not fully benefit from it because it is only when the federal government agreed on a particular minimum wage that is when the private sectors will now have doing and adjust their own pay also. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
I
contribution.
don't believe the private sector is subject to any kind of federal government determination. They always go in their own direction.
I know. They know what they're making. They know how much they can give out. So, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Your sister, my brother, Maestro. Nice meeting you today. I'm Alayi Tonyalawa. You see, palliative is a misconception, a misnomer. You cannot cure a permanent disease and scattering it on the face with all this. The acid in the land goes beyond palliatives. Insecurity goes beyond palliatives. Food on the table is what people need. And when you don't cure, you don't stop this insecurity issue, there will be no food because the farmers all over Nigeria have, begging government to allow them to go to farm because of bandits. When bandits are taking over and they are collecting ransom, what do you want them to do? You kill them on the farm. You see every now and then you hear it. Then the other time, when our president have been saying that he knows our problem, but you don't know how to address them. The problem we have, an American president uses Air Force One. The Air Force presidential jet, that's what they use. The American president all over. Here now you want to buy jet, you have about 10 fleets on the presidential jet. And you are saying none of them can carry you anywhere. This is the problem is you are not having the feelings of the people. Let there be food on the table of Nigerians. Let the hospital.
All right, so thank you so much, sir, for your contribution. So, Loki Adeyemi says it will be better that states are allowed to negotiate on their own, just like the Governors Forum has stated, since the state's financial capacity are not the same, and taking into cognizance that the current 30,000 minimum wage hasn't been implemented by some states. And I can bet it that same thing will play out if they should force it on them, which would not be good for workers. All right, Raji Hafiz says, still on the issue of minimum wage, Maestro said yesterday that it will not end there. My take this morning is that the outcome of the just concluded Southern Governors meeting, if implemented, will yield positive results. The Northern Governors should also come up with their own plans, most especially how to tackle insecurities. And by me, Nana, you're welcome, saying that President and the lawmakers silent over minimum wage, but they are too eager to procure an aircraft for the president, even when there are 3 more aircraft that the president can make do with at the moment. Okay, I'm guessing you've not been with us since Monday. All right, we have another comment from Peter in P. Sabler saying, I remember when I wanted to travel in 2017. Imagine officer asking if you have a naira there. All right, Emmy Stevenson says, how sensible is it for our law enforcement agency like the EFCC to make arrest before investigation? Kehinde Oyeledon says, President Tinubu says something about an hourly wage system during his campaign. Why can't we have a robust discussion on that? The fact is that people are redundantly tied down in the civil service sector. In a lighter mode, Maestro, when can we harvest some of the tomatoes? Some of the tomatoes in that verse before you. Cheers. Hello, good morning.
These are Gidigbo tomatoes, so don't come near.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Gidigbo, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm speaking with you, but I want to keep my name classified.
No problem. Your comment.
I want to come about this next president.
Mm.
This man should please stop messing with the country. First time, same issue of money to the bank, later prayer.
Mm.
After buying several vehicles, now they have to use about 3 billion to build car park. Now they want to build hospital for themselves. This is the same man who ran the nonsense in Akwa Ibom. His case is still with the SEC. This man is supposed to lead us as a country. The same man in Niger Delta, Minister of Niger Delta, same story. Off the mic, somebody was falling down. Today we didn't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
Who forced this man to us? Why? Who did Nigeria offend? We have no problem. We have leadership problem.
Mm.
Right from inception, right from including amalgamation. Please, this man should go back to either he should get a good somebody like this your brother who is on the line now, and to culture him, to turn him on how he will be talking to the public before he bring it up.
Mm.
It's very unfortunate. I don't want to be very insulting because you can't with type of vibration in me.
All right. Thanks for warning us that you are heading in that direction.
That is already, he's getting
that.
Right,
so, but this is as much as it sounds true. The problem is structural before it becomes a leadership problem. You see, where he comes from, you have to talk about region. When people argue, they say, okay, Southwest president and Northeast vice president,
Senate president,
South Senate president. We don't talk about leadership. We talk about the region in such instances. Therefore, you have to grow by your choice. And your choice is region and religion. So you have to restructure so you can grow. This kind of throw up will always happen. There's no two ways about it. Because they will say, okay, this is our leader in this zone. And he is the one we are saying. Many people don't understand the Emilokon thing. You understand? They think, they don't understand it, that it speaks to the heart of the problem of Nigeria. That it is my turn. How so? Then we begin to have a very massive conversation to reveal what actually it means, because people don't get it.
All right, Adejari Abiodun says, good morning, Wura and Baba Moye Maestro. Yeah, that is another new name.
I have a lot.
Our governors didn't know that the statement, government doesn't have business and business, isn't for us. I don't know who will explain it to them and let them have a rethink, because they are the ones who used to say this all the time. It is sad. We also have Adeyeye Damilare saying, I don't know, maybe to blame our leaders who are hiding their medical issues by going abroad. A lot of people are ready to make jest of them, drag them with their ailment. Even you will be seeing their pictures flying on the net and how they are being treated in the hospital. Rich Bar says, look at how long it's taken the Tinubu administration to fix a workable minimum wage. It was so swift to remove the subsidy, even though it's a ruse that they aren't paying anymore. It's such a shame.
Those things don't relate. They don't relate.
We have Kazim Olawale saying Senator Akpabio's comment on presidential jets is devastating and unpatriotic. It shows we are back to the dark days again when leaders don't care about the citizens but do anything they like, whether suitable or not.
I don't know where we left the dark days.
We've been there. Hello, good morning. Hello. All right, please do well to call back. Idris Adisa says our issues in this country is inbuilt and we all lament all this. If we all can at least make our voice louder enough like Agidigbo and face it, because some of us are contributing one way or the other. Restructuring is the answer. New constitution, a local government autonomy, state police. Our governors get away with lots of atrocities. All right, 0704 1001 887 or +234 704 700 8873. Those are the phone lines to call to join in the conversation. Maestro, I saw this news this morning and I think we should talk about it. We have Mohbad's family. They now have the court's nod for them to go for a private autopsy. They asked for it and now they've gotten a response. They should go ahead.
Okay, so one, I think it's been poorly handled right from the beginning. This Mohbad situation was mishandled by the police when he petitioned that he was being hounded all over the place.
When he was still alive.
Yes. And then we also saw that the people he lodged his petition against, we saw lots of clips where this Sam Larry person was hounding him all over town. We saw when he sounded, that's even a sound that said, all station settlement, no case to answer. Nobody is even saying anything about that very powerful statement. We saw the gash on his body.
Yes.
And all those things. And then when he eventually died, look at how the speed with which they buried him. And then due to the noise, the sheer displeasure of Nigerians was brought back, by which time the decomposition had started. And then we waited and waited with bated breath. And they returned to us with, they didn't find anything, Oh, we shouted, Corona, Corona, Lagos State has Corona laws. Then they remembered. I think that shout was championed by Mr. Femi Falana SAN. Look, there's Corona. Then we went back to Corona. It was such a mess. I do not believe that any serious result will come out from this
another private autopsy.
Private autopsy thing. I think that it's unfortunate that the mother is on one side, the father is on another side.
They are not united.
And they cannot find it in themselves to spare a little for the spirit of this boy to go and rest. It's a shame. But then they are fired on by a lot of people and by their own expectations. Because look, this is a man who's already even waxing his own songs already. He's singing already and all that. And the mother too, somewhere expecting the wife, an avalanche on the wife, the people on the social media, a lot of irresponsible people
taking
sides over, the widow's plight, as if it concerns them. So they are even saying, the boy is not his own and so on, tearing his memory to pieces. So to wrap this thing up, I don't believe that this private autopsy is going to avail so much, unfortunately. My prayer is that the mother and the father would be visited by a clean spirit, which will urge them to approve the burial of this young.
All right, then. Let us go on a commercial. When we're back, we'll have the final lap, of course, for this week dailies. We'll be back.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
No matter waiting, I show you, you show me love.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You show me, you show me, you show me love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock last.
Ó yá gbà ọmọ mi ọ̀wọ́n.
Mami, ẹ fi mílìkì sí ni.
Kò di dandan, ìwọ tó wò ná.
Báwo lẹ ṣe ṣe?
Ǹjẹ́ mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye?
Ní gidi gan.
Ṣé ọ̀rá wàrà inú ẹ̀ ṣàn tó?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy nìyẹn o. Mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye. Mi ò nílò láti ṣàfikún mílìkì sí.
Mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀ màámi.
Fún àwọn ọmọ rẹ ní Milo 3-in-1 milky àti creamy tuntun, mílìkì inú ẹ̀ péye. Ó kún fún káṣíọ̀mù láti ran àwọn ọmọ rẹ lọ́wọ́ láti yege lójoojúmọ́. Milo, agbára láti tẹ̀síwájú.
Milo. Mashallah ajiya umura iléeṣẹ́ tó kó ní rìnrìn àjò lọ sí Mẹ́kà o láti ṣiṣẹ́ ájì tàbí umura tí ó fi ní lọ́kàn balẹ̀ láì sí ọ̀nù gbogbo mùsùlùmí pẹ̀lú mùsùlùmá ẹ fẹ́ ṣe umura October sí November yìí pẹ̀lú àkànṣe àdúrà tí a tún jọ ṣe ìyẹn lásìkò tí a bá ṣe umura tí ájì 2025 tó ń bọ̀ yìí Mashallah ní kí ẹ bá lọ. ẹ lè kàn sí wọn ní shop b3 alaka junction ayégun ọ̀lẹ́yọ̀ road new garage Ìbàdàn tàbí ká ẹ pè sórí nọ́mbà yìí 07037417353 tàbí 07064274181 Mashallah iléeṣẹ́ alálàájì rọrùn.
I am pregnant. It is important for me to take care of myself and stay healthy.
To be strong and have a healthy pregnancy, take iron and folic acid tablets every day when you're pregnant. This prevents anemia and helps maintain a healthy pregnancy. Visit your healthcare provider for regular antenatal care. This message is from the Anrin Project or your State Ministry of Health.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
All right, Engineer Adeniyo Yewole says, as far as this country is concerned, the bedrock of all these problems we are battling with is leadership. Besides, the issue of restructuring should be looked into as a way forward. May God heal our land. 0704-1001-887. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. You're on, but we can't hear you at all, sir. We lost the call already. 0704-1001-887. All right. Obafolake Adelusi. Yes, I can see your comment concerning a report you're trying to make. Yes, we've seen this and be rest assured we'll look into it. 0704-1001-887 or +234-704-700-8873. Hello, good morning. All right, seems the network is telling us it's enough for this week. You should go now. 0704-1001-887. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, ma. Your name and where you're calling from? All right. Thank you so much for joining the conversation this morning. 0704-1001-887 or +234-704-700-8873. I'm seeing this a big story on the front page of Daily Trust newspaper. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from, sir?
My name is calling from Olodo area in Ibadan.
All right. Your contribution.
Good morning to Maestro and the my contribution is on the labor issue that states will go and negotiate. This is what we have done in the first instance. And my thinking is just this. The labor union must have lost out. And I want to really iterate that the revenue mobilization and whatever commission they are is a trust. They should be scrapped. There is no reason for anybody to legislate a minimum wage. Initially, in an economic situation where everything is good, every organization has appraiser every year to increase the salary of their staff as they produce or as they make profit. And at the end of 3 or 4 years, they promote. So this thing goes on every year in many establishments. Why fix the salary that? I think the government should do something about scrapping the minimum wage law or whatever it is. Good morning. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Samuel Anipopo says, we will continue to have leaders who do not have the love of the masses at heart, as long as this British colony is not restructured. Good morning, the indefatigable presenter and veteran analyst in the studio. All right. Good morning to you too. Okay, this is the story I'm talking about is on Igbo apprenticeship scheme. How lofty entrepreneurship system undermines school enrollment. I'm afraid we do not have much time to go on this because we have quite a lot of stories on that.
We can mark it down for discussion at another time because it's very important.
It is. Okay, so that will be on Monday. Yes, we'll try. Let's pick this last call and then we'll start leaving. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I want to talk to Alaji.
All right.
Good morning. Please, I want to talk to Alaji.
All right.
Fine.
Okay.
I want to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay, I want to talk to you.
Okay, our Alaji. Yes, you want to talk to Alaji. He's currently right here at Agidigbo 887. Please come down, make your way down to the station, and then you get to see him for whatever it is you want to see him for. But he's currently not on this program. Maestro, let's just have your pattern short and we'll leave gently.
When we talk about our problems, we see these problems from different perspectives. One of the things we talk about is leadership is the Nigerian problem. Before that, yes, I know it's one of the problems. But before that, you have your structural problem. Before leadership problem, you have leadership processing system, which is also, a big problem. It's a bigger problem than you now get to your leadership. So those are three layers you should reflect on.
All right, then that is for us to say goodbye till Monday again, where we'll come back in the studio to discuss about our great nation, Nigeria. My name is Wuraola Yusuff, and I'm telling you that cholera is still out there. Please try as much as possible to cook thoroughly. Cook your food thoroughly and be wary of the things you put in your mouth, either foods or drinks or whatever it is that you eat outside. Ensure proper cleanliness in and outside your homes because cholera is deadly. My name is Wuraola Yusuff, and then I'll see you on Monday. Bye.
The views expressed by the guests and participants on this program are